Python, Typehints for argparse.Namespace objects. Is there a way to have Python static analyzers, for example in PyCharm, other IDEs, pick up on Typehints on argparse.Namespace objects? Example. If I remove the type declaration in the inline comment, PyCharm doesn't complain, but it also doesn't pick up on invalid attributes. For example, any ideas? Update. Inspired by Austin's answer below, the simplest solution I could find is one using Nemad tuples. While this is satisfactory, I still don't like having to repeat the argument names. If the argument list grows considerably, it will be tedious updating both locations. What would be ideal is somehow extracting the arguments from the parser object like the following. I haven't been able to find anything in the argparse module that could make this possible, and I'm still unsure if any static analysis tool could be clever enough to get those values and not bring the IDE to a grinding halt. Still searching. Update 2. Per Polly's comment, the closest thing I could find to the method described above that would magically extract the attributes of the parsed object is something that would extract the dest attribute from each of the parser's underscore actions. But this still does not cause attribute errors to get flagged in static analysis. This is also true if I pass namespace equals magic namespace in the parser.parse underscore args call.
Typed argument parser was made for exactly this purpose. It wraps argparse. Your example is implemented as Here's a picture of it in action. It's on PyPy and can be installed with pip install typed argument parser. Full disclosure, I'm one of the creators of this library.
Consider defining an extension class to argparse.Namespace that provides the type hints you want. Then use namespace equals to parse that to parse underscore args.
I don't know anything about how PyCharm handles these type hints, but understand the namespace code. argparse.Namespace is a simple class, essentially an object with a few methods that make it easier to view the attributes. And for ease of uninteresting, it has an _eq_ method. You can read the definition in the argparse.py file. The parser interacts with the namespace in the most general way possible, with getter, setter, passager. So you can use almost any dest string, even ones you can't access with the .dest syntax. Make sure you don't confuse the add_argument type equals parameter. That's a function. Using your own namespace class, from scratch or subclass, as suggested in the other answer, may be the best option. This is described briefly in the documentation. Namespace object. I haven't seen this done much, though I've suggested it a few times to handle special storage needs. So you'll have to experiment. If using subparsers, using a custom namespace class may break this URL. Pay attention to handling of defaults. The default for most argparse actions is none. It is handy to use this after parsing to do something special if the user did not provide this option. That could get in the way type hints. Whatever solution you try, pay attention to the defaults. An immutable won't work as a namespace. First, the proper use of a custom namespace classes. That is, you initial an instance of that class, and pass it as the parameter. The returned args will be the same instance, with new attributes set by parsing. Second, an immutable can only create it, it can't be changed. A namespace has to work with getature and setature. Another problem with an immutable is that it doesn't set any kind of type information. It just defines field/attribute names. So there's nothing for the static typing to check. While it is easy to get expected attribute names from the parser, you can't get any expected types. For a simple parser, the actions test is the normal attribute name, but type is not the expected static type of that attribute. It is a function that may or may not convert the input string. Here none means the input string is saved as is. Because static typing and argparse require different information, there isn't an easy way to generate one from the other. I think the best you can do is create your own database of parameters, probably in a dictionary, and create both the namespace class and the parser from that, with your own utility functions. Let's say DD is dictionary with the necessary keys. Then we can create an argument with someone else will have to come up with a namespace class definition that sets the default, easy, and static type, from such a dictionary.
Most of these answers involve using another package to handle the typing. This would be a good idea only if there wasn't such a simple solution as the one I am about to propose. Step 1. Type declarations. First, define the types of each argument in a data class like so. Step 2. Argument declarations. Then you can set up your parser however you like with matching arguments. For example, Step 3. Parsing the arguments. And finally, we parse the arguments in a way that the static type checker will know about the type of each argument. Now the type checker knows that my _args is of type my program args, so it knows exactly which fields are available and what their type is.
If you want to see more, please consider subscribing.